Welcome back to another episode of the Cripple Talk podcast. I'm really excited for this one. I hope you guys will be too. On today's episode, we're going to be having my buddy Chase Johnson. He was my former neighbor at Shepherd's in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to be talking about all things racing, spinal cord, his story, and then the new Onward Arc X machine. That they came out with for spinal cord injury patients. So I hope you guys enjoy. And don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff, share the videos. Hope everyone enjoys it. Thanks. So, all right, I guess we'll hop right into it. So, first, obviously, I need to introduce you.
Yep,
Sir Chase Johnson with the Big Johnson, my next door
that's right.
neighbor.
That's right. 524, baby.
Yeah. Was that yours or was that mine?
Mine was 524.
Oh, okay.
Yours
So that
must have
was
been,
525.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. We were the hot commodity around Shepherd's on the fifth
Yeah,
floor.
exactly.
Which, you know what sucked though, is that it never seemed to line up when we had therapy at the same time, which
They
kind of
did that.
pissed me off.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah. It's stupid.
Can't handle the both
But
of us.
yeah. So you were my roommate up at Shepherd Center in Atlanta. We were definitely the force to be reckoned with. We also, I don't know how about you, but I got in a lot of trouble with the way I talked, especially when you're around. You brought it out of me.
Yeah, I feel like we brought it out of each other. I
Yeah,
feel like that's also why we ended up not having therapy together at the same time.
probably.
Is
Yeah,
because they knew like me and you would find each other on the other side of the room and be like,
yeah,
rolling and just say something
yeah.
stupid.
That and they also put us on the floor with all the old people, which didn't really make sense to me. So I think that had a
Uh,
lot to do.
yeah,
Like,
I feel like we would have fit in better at the younger level, but
yeah, what wasn't that like the well, I don't
that was under 18. We were above 18, so we were like club level, you know?
yeah, we were that middle, that in between.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, 524. I mean, we were roommates. I mean, you were there right before I got there. I
mhm.
want to say you were there just, I mean, I think like a week or a couple days before I got there.
Yeah,
And then
yeah. I mean, when did you get there?
I got there September like 28th, something like that.
Yeah, because you weren't in your ICU for long, right?
Like almost like exactly a full month.
Really? I thought it was shorter because I got there in September 12th.
Yeah, so it had to have been like that week after.
Yeah, yeah, you weren't there long, or I wasn't there long. But
No.
yeah, because I remember when you got there, I was in the middle of therapy, and like all your family would come in to the gym and stuff with you, and I talked to Maddie, and I was like, "Who's that?" She's like, "Oh, just new guy." I was like, "Oh, okay." And
New
then
guy on the
found out,
block.
yeah. So, I was like, "All right, we'll figure out how this is gonna go." And
Yeah,
turned
no.
out,
I remember I'd roll and I'd see you. You'd always be chilling back in the power chair,
yeah, always
always
fun.
chilling back, full tilt. And then you'd have your blanket on. But then I was like, okay, this guy's like about the same age as me. Like he looks
Yeah,
cool. Like I could vibe with him. And then, yeah, it's just hard because like getting there that early and you know how hard it is. Like
yeah,
meeting friends is not really like what you're obviously there for. It's just like such
yeah,
a weird, awkward situation to
yeah,
begin with. And yeah, and then like we just slowly got talking more and more. And obviously we had Maddie and Jocelyn. Like
yeah.
they
The
were by
com
far the best. But
yeah,
yeah, hopefully they watch this episode. Shout out to them if they are.
yeah,
But their favorite two troublemakers are talking now.
yeah. So this should be fun. But I'm hoping to maybe I can try and get them on when I go up there in January. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
totally.
I don't
I
know how
feel like
that's
they have, after going to the day program, they have such a they have such a they're in such a crazy like difficult position. Like I didn't really realize it until afterwards and going to more physical therapy now and then having like the day program and going through that. But like the amount that you bond with those people specifically because like you're there and it's everything is so early. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
they teach you everything.
Oh yeah,
And you know, I mean, the amount of stuff that they see and deal with us is
yeah,
like, it's crazy looking back at it. But, the day program therapists, they didn't experience that with you. So I feel like it's like such a more close connection. And I had no idea it was like that until like I left. And then I was like,
yeah,
wow, like we really went through some shit with them.
yeah, yeah. That's like I feel like their job is more than just like helping us like relearn stuff or just finding like working up that strength that sat
Yeah.
for like that month of us not doing anything because they end up becoming more of like a psychiatrist than
Yeah.
you know because that's who you're with the whole day. And
Yeah.
then like for me, like Jocelyn, me and Jocelyn, like she's like, I don't really care how you feel right now. Like we're just gonna go with this.
Yeah.
And it's like more of that tough love, and then Maddie was more of like that, like softer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, they were they're pretty legit. I think they worked out too for our age group,
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
so
Yeah. We got to
but
like connect on a lot of levels.
yeah. But all right, so let's talk about you racing. You're a racer.
Yes, sir.
So you did the sprint car racing. So just tell me what that's about. Like, because I didn't know, I honestly, before I met you, I didn't know what that shit was. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you just want to tell me what all goes into it and why do the cars look the way they look? That's what I've always wondered.
Yeah, so sprint car racing specifically, I race dirt track oval race cars. So
Mm,
they're open wheel race cars, so that means there's no fenders, so they don't really look exactly like the a Toyota Camry or Chevy Camaro. There's no body really on them. The
mm,
wheels are exposed, and yeah, we race on basically tracks vary from a quarter mile to a half mile. So, and I do that and I travel all across the country. These cars race everywhere across the country. They race in Australia, New Zealand, Canada. I'm sure more places that I'm missing, but they're definitely very popular. But a lot of people, you can kind of describe them as like they've got the wings on top, and so
yeah.
they're very unique looking. They don't look like a normal car or anything of that manner.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're very much a just a straight raw race car. Like there's no clutch, there's no transmission. It's just basically like a chassis, your seat, and a motor and a rear end and a front end. Like that's it. So it's very
Oh,
raw, very very real racing.
yeah. So okay, that's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a manual or
Yeah, no,
like,
just all that stuff is stripped out of there. So there's not even no battery.
oh
Like I said,
wow.
it's like as the cars only weigh 1,400 pounds and have about 950 to 1,000 horsepower. So like
Dang.
the power to weight ratio is very similar to a Formula One car.
Hmm.
And if you were to put a couple different stuff on a Formula One car, it looks somewhat similar with the wheels and
Yeah.
everything exposed. But yeah, so I did that professionally, probably for about the last 10 to 12 years, somewhere around there. And yeah, I absolutely love it. That's how I got hurt. And yeah, four generations in my family. My great grandpa, both my great grandpas actually. My dad, my uncle, my cousins, my grandfather. So tons and tons of history. My family started racing right before World War II, and like I said, I love it. That's the sport, specifically of sprint car racing, has taken a lot from my family, including myself. And um, man, after all that is done and taken, it's like you wonder why I would still even like it or be
Yeah.
even intrigued by it. But yeah, I just absolutely love it. I'm still involved in it now. Definitely on a small scale. Like obviously I'm not driving right now, but yeah, it's just I mean, I've done that since I was the age of 5, and I mean, I grew up going to the races every single weekend. I don't really know, that's been a whole nother aspect of this injury is, I was so go, go, go 24/7, and I never even sat on my couch to watch TV. And now it's like, I mean, I'd be sprinting through like portions of my day, like literally, like
Yeah,
I'd be like, okay, like I just need to go grab that tool and then run out here and grab this from my truck. I'd be like jogging or like running. And
yeah.
then now it's, I mean, you know how it is. It's just like everything is so slow and like
Oh
you
yeah,
can't be in a rush. Like as much
yeah,
as you want to even try to be in a rush, you can't. Like there's no even not possible way. And so it's just like such a dramatic change of the lifestyle. But yeah, it's we could get into that. Of course, that's a whole separate topic, but that's what I did. Racing wise, and
yeah.
yeah,
That is a huge thing. Like that, what you did is you're going 100+ mile an hour, like not metaphorically, like for real. And then all
yeah,
of a sudden, this happens, and yeah, you're right. Like you can't. This like it's a just straight dead stop,
yeah,
especially because the way it starts, it's like we're sitting in a hospital bed for like a month, and that's just without us like barely doing anything. And then you've got the inpatient where it's like you can only go so far and your body will only like go so far. And then now,
yeah,
even though we're only a year, a little over a year, it but whenever, like for me, whenever I start getting moving quick, that's when all like stuff will fall to my lap, and it's just like there's always that constant reminder of like, all right,
like you
yeah,
can't
you're
like you're dropping
yeah,
stuff or
yeah,
yeah, your phone's flying out of your lap or
yeah,
like now you're like hitting a wall or like you
yeah,
can't open like a door.
yeah,
It's just yeah, it's all that stuff. Obviously, you have no idea before the injury until
yeah.
like you're in it, but
Mhm.
yeah, such a change in pace. It's so frustrating because, like I said, I was so like, you know, I was insane. Like looking back at it, I was, Haley always told me like I was crazy. But looking back at it now, you have a different viewpoint, and you're like, wow, like I actually was like definitely a little
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
So, but yeah, it's everything's slow, and like it's the frustrating part is you can't speed it up. Like you can't go any
yeah,
faster than
no,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I didn't know. That's cool that it's been like a part of your family. So you guys that's just what you guys know, huh?
yeah,
Like that,
yeah.
that's
And
pretty
so,
cool.
obviously doing that at the family level, like,
Mhm.
that only takes you so far. So, when I hit my, later years, like probably 16 through 18, you really kind of realize, what you want to do or what path you want to go down and do. And you figure out how much you love it and why you love it and why you enjoy certain things. So, yeah, it's I knew it from a very young age that that's what I wanted to do. That's what my, desire was, and I
Yeah,
was at that point I was full 110% into it for a
yeah.
lot of years
So
and
my question is, so I know for like a lot of like professional sports, not like football or anything like that, but like so for like rodeo, you have to be to get into that professional state, you have to buy, it's called a PRCA card. So you pay for this card, and then you make like it's like an annual payment on it. You pay it each year, and you go to these rodeos, and there are these professional rodeos, and that finally get you into like the Super Bowl of rodeo. So like how do you make that transition of like, let's say amateur to professional in like the sprint car stuff?
the sprint car dirt open wheel stuff is very, very different compared to any sports. Like we don't have like a national ranking system, where you go from being, like you're a regional guy and then, you now won a race and now you can go to the championship, there or the national, there's nothing that is like that.
Mm,
Um, you know, uh, you just it's more based off of, like what and how you trying to think of the best way to describe it as. So, I mean, like if you wanted to go race tomorrow, like somewhat close to the
Mhm.
same competition I was at, like it's not going to be hard for you to do. You obviously have to have the equipment. Like you have to, we have people that, show up in some of the races I'll do. Like some guys are out there
Mhm.
for, their first 10 races ever. And like those some of those races I would do, and then other races I would do, have guys that are all making, more than, over $100,000 a year. So
Yeah.
it just the variation depends. There's not really like a certain ranking or ladder you have to climb. It very much depends on your own level of performance and your talent and how good you are, and also like your racing equipment and team that you're driving for. So
Mhm.
more towards the end of my career, I spent a lot of time driving for other people, and you basically get hired as a driver. You make certain deals, and some deals are one race, some deals are, a 6 year long deal, and it's just,
Mhm.
that's financially also changes things too, and you get paid for showing up, you get your expenses paid, and you get a certain cut out of the money that the team and you win combined. So very different. It's definitely very much more open. It's not secluded. So yeah, like I said, if you wanted to go racing and you wanted to be a professional sprint car driver, and you had what it took, like you could be up there winning national level races in a year. Obviously, is that realistic? Probably not.
Yeah.
But if you were, Superman or whatever, that's possible. But yeah, that's what I did, and yeah, like I said, you travel all across the country. Literally went to Florida, where you're at in Ocala, and
Yeah.
then yeah, basically every state in between, really, from back over here to California.
That's a pretty cool gig. I
Yeah,
mean, paying to do what you love. It's
yeah,
always.
no, it's it took a long time to get to the point where I was at, where it was financially stable and you could actually make some money doing it.
Mhm.
I never fully relied on the money that was coming in to off of like what I lived off of, but
Mhm.
yeah, it certainly helps out. It makes for a good living. But a lot of guys that do
Uh,
the sprint car stuff, they make a good living doing it. Obviously it's dangerous, as I'm kind of like a living proof to it. But anything that's fun is going to
Nobody
come with
thinks of
danger.
that. Yeah, but
Exactly.
nobody.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably one of those things. Like I know for rodeo, it's just like, and then like, what I did too, like training horses, is like, if you think about that, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
If you're about to get on that horse or whatever it is, and the first thing that you're thinking is like, okay, like if you have that little fear in your mind, like
Yep.
one that overtakes you,
You might
and
as
then
well
that's
go
probably the
turn
only
around and go
thing
back
you.
home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can't have that kind of thought. And when you're doing it, like for me, like if you're someone who really loves doing it, you don't ever think about that.
Yeah.
Like that's like now, like, and I don't know if this may be you, I would assume it is just from hearing you talk. Like just thinking about it now, you're still like, no, I'm not really scared of it. Like it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Obviously,
like,
it would be. I definitely want to. I'd love to get back into a race car, but I don't really have much desire getting picked up and put into a race car and then dragged out of it when I'm done. I don't, that doesn't desire, that doesn't, interest me at all right now. Maybe down
mhm.
the line, maybe, but,
Oh
as of
yeah.
right now, like and it's also hard because the level I was at and how competitive I was. I know if I were to get back in and like say, hey, I'm gonna go out and do it for fun and just, give it a try. Like that
Hmm.
would last about 2 seconds. And then I'd
Yeah.
be, frustrated. I wasn't at the same point where I left. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
the competitiveness just like fully would take me over and then make it no fun. And
Mhm.
then I know myself a little too well right now. So
Yeah.
like I said, maybe we'll see.
So
Yeah.
I saw on Facebook of the new Chase Johnson Classic. Is that going to be an annual thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think we got the dates locked down again. It'll be same time of year, right after, or I guess right before Thanksgiving. So yeah, it'll be 2 nights next year, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know if it was going to be an annual thing. The guy that promotes that racetrack, he did this race. It wasn't called the Chase Johnson Classic, but it was called a Race for Chase when I was in the hospital, and it was really cool. And then when I got home, got settled in, we always kept in contact, and he's like, "Hey, got this idea, like we did this race last year. Now you're here. Like, why don't we make it the Chase Johnson Classic?" And I was like, sure, never would have thought I would have ever had a race after me or my name in a race or that I'd even be like somewhat promoting a race. But, here we are. It was fun. It's the racing community, has done so much for me and still does so much for me. And still so many people will send me messages and say like, I still pray for you every night. And like, it's crazy hearing that type of support, more than a year later.
Yeah.
And I kind of view it as like I don't make anything off this race. I don't get even a penny. Like I get a free wristband to go watch the race, but that's about all.
Yeah.
And I do it more of like giving back to the racing community. Like so many people that are there racing. I mean, even fans watching, and you could watch it live streamed at home. But it's to provide some type of like it's almost like a thank you to a certain degree, and just like a kind of a big party
Yeah.
really, I guess.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the racing fun. We did a couple different things to incorporate it like that. But yeah, just make it different, make it an actual event and be
Hmm.
able to yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't know if we're gonna do multiple years or just it was gonna be one and done. I said, I was gonna figure out how exactly I thought that it went and if I had fun doing it, then we'd do it again. And yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. It looked pretty cool. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, it
Um,
was cool. We had a lot of cool prizes, a lot of cool awards. Like we had a great turnout for race teams and drivers, a great turnout in the fans, with the fans and everyone, all the spectators. Like we had my race car out there. My brother did
mhm.
some laps in it, some parade laps, and it was also fun because it's essentially we kind of got the band back together and just
Yeah.
going through the whole process of getting the race car ready and like we fired it
Mhm.
up and loading up the trailer and going down the road and then getting done and it's 2 a.m. and you're listening to tunes
Mhm.
just driving down the road and it very much was like brought you back of why you love it and everything
Yeah.
about it, but it was definitely like surreal going through that whole process and then going to the racetrack with my
Mhm.
race car there and my team and then me not driving was very, very surreal. Like I was like, all right, I'm ready to jump in, but then it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was weird. Like it was really good that we all did it and that was part of the race, but it was weird, not gonna lie.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you did it for so long. Only makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was pretty cool, especially about seeing your old car, uh, seeing them and seeing your brother drive that around was pretty cool. I thought he would have got a little bit more sideways, but whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I had to
had to
tell
calm him
myself
down a little
that.
bit. I said, if you want to, we'd take it actually out and go do a race if you want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But and then well you kind of answered my question. I was gonna ask how I got started, but kind of answered that. I mean, just tell everyone like what your injury is
Yeah.
first.
So yeah, well first off, so I was racing in Chico when I broke my neck and I broke C1, C5, 6, 7, and then also my T10 and T11. Level of injury is C6 and yeah, I first went to the local hospital in Chico. They basically saw me and they're like, there's absolutely nothing we can do for this guy. Like, we need to get him to a major trauma, hospital as soon as possible. So took a nice little helicopter ride from Inlo was the hospital in Chico. Took a nice little, flight over to Sacramento, and that's where I spent a month at UC Davis. So spent a full, like almost exactly to a T, a full month. I think it was a month and 1 day is what I spent there got on another airplane. Well, this time it was an actual airplane, a jet, and a med flight is what they're called. And went on there. It was a pilot. Haley was allowed to go with me. And then it had a respiratory therapist and I believe a nurse that
Yeah,
was on
that's
there.
fine. Yeah, mine. That was the same for me too.
Yep. And then yeah, they basically shipped me across the country. I was on a backboard really and laid on top of I always make the comment like basically like on top of the sink in there really is like
Yeah,
what it felt like you were riding on. And yeah, just basically, laying flat on your back looking out the window for 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, to get to Atlanta. And then yeah, that's when we went to the rehab center, the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia, and I spent, man, I think it was 4 or 5 months there. So yeah, that was inpatient and then outpatient as well. So it was
yeah,
like it was a long time. I wasn't
yeah.
home. I got hurt in August. I didn't get to be back home or even in the same state since for yeah, I got hurt August and then I came back home the very end of February. So a long
That's
time.
yeah,
Long
yeah.
time.
Did you take did you take anything before your big jet flight to Atlanta?
No, no, they didn't give me anything.
That's
Um,
stupid.
yeah, no, I mean, they even landed, we stopped, I think, in Oklahoma City for a fuel stop. And they all ordered in DoorDash Chick-fil-A. And at
And
that
you just
time,
said no.
I couldn't eat or drink anything.
Yeah,
And so Haley, I was like, Haley, just give me a taste of the Chick-fil-A sauce. And so she like was eating Chick-fil-A and she gave me like a little like little finger just dab of the
yeah,
Chick-fil-A sauce. Like that's as
yeah.
much as I got. But
Dang.
um yeah, I mean getting to Shepherd's was a lifesaver for me. Like my hospital stay at UC Davis was pretty much from hell. I know like we've
Yeah,
obviously talked
you.
about this a lot, but
Yeah,
I mean, it was like initially when I was there, like as soon as I got there and they were putting me on the board to go have a CT scan, they like halfway dropped me, smoked my head, and obviously that time is so critical because your neck and the spinal
yeah.
cord and everything else that's going on.
And
And
just
like,
throw you against
yeah,
every wall.
instantly like, all the, the feeling of that spinal shock and I mean, it
Mm,
just was like that was just one of, I mean, I could go on for hours talking about the hell of a time we had there. Like they overdosed me, they had to Narcan me to bring me back to life. I had a breathing tube balloon pop and basically woke up not being able to breathe and suffocating for air. And then the next thing I woke up, next thing I know, I woke up and there was all these doctors around me in pajamas and they were like majorly freaked out and glad that I was like had my eyes open.
yeah,
Um, you know, yeah, like I said, I could go on for hours. There's so many
yeah,
bad stories that happened, and it was definitely not a time that I ever. It's crazy because I talked to Haley about it, and I'm like, most of my brain has like it's crazy thing, but like erased some of those bad memories out of my head. Like she'll tell me stuff that happened, and I'm like, I remember that, but like I legit like have blocked that out of my brain. It's the weirdest thing. Like
yeah,
obviously all the trauma that we've gone through, but the hospital stuff is like straight nightmare stuff. And I
yeah.
mean the amount of pain that I was in that time, like I have no idea. Like there was even that level of pain, like even like out there to exist that you'd still even be alive to feel it. Like I had no
Mm,
idea that level of pain was there, and you
yeah.
know it's all those things that you don't know that comes with a spinal cord injury. Obviously,
Mm,
cervical stuff is a lot different than, guys who break their back and
mm,
um, the paraplegic level. But, everything that we have dealt with is just like insane. You would have never thought. Like you just think, hey, you break your neck or you break your back, like you can't move your legs, but it's like the amount of time, like I know you're in my story of like pain wise and how much the struggle was very similar, and just being able to breathe. Like
mm,
I had no idea that was even a thing.
yeah.
Like I didn't know like you break your neck here and like
Mm,
it paralyzed everything else below it. Like I had no
yeah.
idea. Like I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe you just can't walk, but like no, like you can't fucking use your hands, your fingers, like your
Mhm.
arms, your legs, like you can't
Yeah.
breathe, you can't pee on your own, you can't poo on your own, you can't
It's
eat
crazy.
food, you can't like
Yeah.
you can't do anything. You're literally just laying there on literally on life support.
Hmm.
So just like I said, that the amount that me and you went through as well as everyone else that had cervical level injuries is crazy, and it's truly like looking back on it, like it's like wow, you're really like a survivor, and honestly it's just crazy that we're even still here on some of
Yeah.
the shit that we went through. And yeah, the like I said, I could go on for hours with the stories there at UC Davis,
Yeah,
but
I think like we've had a pretty similar, I would say after at Shepherd, I feel like following Shepherds after that, man, we've been pretty close on like our journey on like therapy and stuff like that. But the ICU, completely different stories. Like that's like when people, which I don't have a whole lot of people, but if I ever have had people, or what I try and advocate to other people is like, look, don't try not to feel bad for me because other people have had it worse. So like kind of situations like that, like I got no, like I truly don't think and I never will think that I've got anything to complain about, because there are people that initial deep and like you said, probably the most important time is like people can have such bad trauma or experiences, whatever the case may be, like you had. And then also too, like seeing people when we were in Shepherds, I remember seeing people like they couldn't, like they would come into therapy in their bed, like, and they're like stuck, or
yep,
people that are going home and they're on the ventilator and they're stuck like that. So like
yep,
for me, because I mean, one, from my accident was definitely self-induced. I mean, I don't think anybody else told me. They said, "Hey, Roland, how about you do that dive in that pool?" And I bet you'll make it through that cement or whatever. But no, I
yep,
think so. Like that's where I think I definitely envy you a little bit more because of what you went through. With the dealing with all the just the crap that you had to go through before. Um, because I feel like I might be in the minority of like not having anything to complain about versus more people. And maybe it's just you hear more about it. I don't know. But, I've heard more people being like, look, no, it was bad from the get-go, but yeah, I mean, thankfully, Shepherds was there for you to kind of fall back on, and
yeah,
that's why I'll never ever talk bad about them. I mean, me and you can agree there are some things where we're like, okay, come on, y'all could have done better, but
yeah,
that was definitely was whenever we were gone in a way we weren't really like, which
yep,
I mean, it's just a out of sight, out of mind thing, I think, and
yep,
if you're not close, like in residence to them, like let's say in Georgia,
yep,
then it's probably, because, and looking back now, it kind of makes sense because when you go out of state, your own state and your own therapy, they're going to have their own little network, just like Shepherd does. So, I mean,
yep,
it makes sense, but it kind of sucks because when you're in that state of leaving Shepherds and before you leave Shepherds, for me, it's like, well, I'm only going by whatever y'all say. So,
yep,
whatever y'all say, I'm going to believe everything. So, like, when I go home, I have no idea what at home's going to look like. I've just been here for so long. I only know what y'all have said, and I'm going to do what y'all said. So, like, it mainly with like the chair stuff, it's like, well, I'm relying on you guys. And then,
yeah.
but I think, but I mean, from that level compared to like that stuff we actually needed versus like, the medical attention we needed, ah, it's kind of like, what, what would you rather, I guess,
Yeah,
but yeah, so I'm, that's why another reason why I wanted you on is because like, uh, because I want other people to hear like the the crappy part of it, the
like one of the biggest things that come to my mind when just thinking about the crappy part was the respiratory therapy part. I mean, I love my respiratory therapist. Like those were some of those people, some, not saying all of them, but
yeah.
some of them when I was at UC Davis were one of the most inspiring, awesome people in the hospital that I dealt with. But man,
Hmm.
I mean, it literally felt like you were like getting human tortured is like the
Hmm.
best way to describe it. And like I said, I didn't even know that was even like a thing or like our bodies could
Hmm.
even go through something like that. Like you can't even
Yeah.
breathe hardly by yourself. And
Hmm.
then, the respiratory therapist comes in every 2 hours or hour or every 3 or 4, like whatever the schedule was on. I mean, it could have been every 30 minutes, really, depending on how you were progressing or whatnot. But yeah, I remember them coming in like every 2 hours, day or night, no breaks. And, you'd have to, they'd hook up that whole thing to the, basically the breathing tube, and it would, puff your lungs full of all the saline and everything to loosen up everything in your lungs. And then they basically go in there and like force your lungs to cough.
Hmm.
And then at that point, they go in and they literally like suck your lungs
Shit.
out. And like, I, yeah, it was so bad. And,
Yeah.
the entire time, like, obviously your story is a lot different than mine, but like nobody ever said like, hey, like this is, we're doing this or you're having a hard time to breathe because you broke your neck and the spinal cord and it's affecting your lungs and everything else below it. Like nobody
Hmm.
ever said that. They were just like, well, maybe you got pneumonia. And I never had pneumonia once. And it was like, I'm like, am I the first one with a spinal cord injury here? Like, you guys are
Yeah.
supposed to be like California's number one, top
Yeah.
whatever hospital. And I'm like, it was just, insanity. But yeah, just some of that stuff. It's like, man, that was literally like I remember I still have notes on my iPad from typing it out. And like I was explaining to everybody because you can't talk.
Hmm.
Um, and like I'm like, this is human torture. Like this is that literally this bad. And I mean, I guess that's part of the stuff that I literally blocked out of my brain and my mind. I don't know how, but it's probably for a good thing that I did. But yeah, it was, you get to 30 minutes of sleep, you wake up and somebody's ready to basically like suck your lungs out of you, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
madness, absolute madness. And I mean, you just the amount of stuff that you go through there of like people coming every hour or two, poking a new spot in your arm, getting blood, coming in to give you medicine or turning off your medicine or yeah, just and then the whole thing of how much pain we were in. Like, I mean, both you and I both broke our C1, and I feel like that the pain that we had in our necks was similar, later down the line is from the C1. And man, I mean, every little movement, I mean, they moved you like an inch and it was the most excruciating pain ever. And then,
Yeah.
them having to come in and turn you, obviously, that's highly important, but just the amount of pain that it was, and you're uncomfortable all the time. I mean, I still am now. Like you're just you learn to live to be uncomfortable, I guess is the best way to describe it. But I mean, just the amount of pain that you were in the hospital is just crazy. And then yeah, all the other BS to go along with it. One of the best stories I had. This will be the only other one that I'll tell about UC Davis
All right.
was the IV. They have the IV in your arm, and then when you go to get the CT scan, they pump it full of whatever fluid that is. I'm not too sure exactly the correct terminology, but I didn't know this till after they had the IV put in my artery in my arm. So not in the vein, in my artery. So we went in. It was, of course, in the middle of the night. This stuff would always happen in the middle of the night. And keep this in the back of your mind too. Is like visitors were only allowed to be there from 9 in the morning, and then everyone had to leave at 9 at night. Like no matter what. Like there was nobody sleeping on the floor, nobody staying in there. Everyone had to leave. And of
They
course,
wouldn't
all
allow
this.
you. They wouldn't even allow you one person to stay at night.
No, no. And then the entire time when I was in the ICU for the full month, it was two people at a time. So like I had to either have Haley or my brother or my mom and dad, like that, two people at a time. So it was constantly, and like if people wanted to come visit, then those people would come in. And anyways, it was madness. Probably because of California. I mean, I'll tell you that because you're from Florida. You know how it is here. But uh yeah, they get wheeled down there for the CT scan. They put me on like in the CT machine. They have, the CT machine is like the one you lay in, it goes all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what it is, but for the viewers, listeners, but yeah, so at this time, obviously no leg movement, very little hand or arm movement, and they actually tied my arms together down in like basically in front of my stomach is where my arms were tied together. I don't know why. Actually, no, sorry. They had my arms tied together, but they were above my head. So it was like I was like,
Oh,
this. I don't know why on God's green earth that was even why they need to do that, but they did.
yeah,
And so the artery, the IV is in my arm. So I'm in there,
yeah,
like obviously so uncomfortable, like in pain, like just sitting, laying there. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna turn on you can, the whatever that stuff is to go through you to make sure they
yeah,
can see it through the imaging. So they do
yeah.
that, and my arm feels like it is going to explode. Like my forearm felt like it was going to pop like a balloon. And I was like, you at this time I have a breathing tube in too. So you
Mhm.
can't speak, you can't say anything, you can't yell, you can't moan, like there's nothing. You can't
Yeah.
kick your feet, you can't kick your arms.
No.
And the pain was insane. And it basically became to a point where it kept going. And then a portion of my arm and the line basically exploded.
Mm-hmm.
And then blood went everywhere, everywhere, all over my face, all over my arm, all over the whole machine.
Oh
And then
God.
then like you're still dealing with the plane, you're still bleeding everywhere. And then the
Mm-hmm.
machine finally gets done. They pull you out, and I remember the guy that was running the CT machine. He looks at the nurse or the tech, whoever was like wheeled me down there,
Mm-hmm.
and goes, "What the fuck? Look at my machine," because there was blood everywhere. And I'm over
Oh
here with my arm bleeding
yeah.
out. Like just went through that, and then he's like, oh, sorry, sorry. And then yeah, wheeled me back up to the room and obviously then took care of the rest. But I
Dang.
mean, they're like, oh man, we must have had it in the artery. Oh shoot, sorry, man. And like at that time, like, and I couldn't tell. Like the next morning when my parents and Haley and Colby came in, like I couldn't tell them. Like there's no way to communicate. So like they didn't learn until like 2, 3 weeks later when I could finally speak a little bit, and I told them all this. And it's, obviously you can't talk to nobody. You can't even explain it, or you
Yeah.
can't even like emotionally tell somebody how you felt. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just crazy. You're just there. I mean, you know how it is. Like when you're on the
Yeah.
ventilator, the breathing tube,
Yeah.
like you're there just by yourself, really.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of have to just go through it.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
you're just sitting
sucks.
there
Yeah.
in your head and your
I
own
can't
thoughts.
believe. I can't believe they didn't let anyone stay overnight with you. That's insane.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
they allowed one person to stay with me, so that's. I mean, I don't. And that was. I don't think that was against like that hospital's rules. So that. Yeah, that's gotta suck even more because I mean, yeah, because then because the nights are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was
that's
bad.
gotta suck. And I
Like
mean, that's
everything that happened to me happened in the middle of the night. Everything,
yeah.
of course. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
nobody's
Oh
here.
yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's here. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
well, me, I'm just gonna just, I guess, try to halfway fall asleep and see everybody in the morning.
Dang. And I
Yeah.
mean, did you? So at this time, were your arms like? So how much fun did you have? A whole lot of. I mean, for me,
It's
because at that time, I only had like function in one arm, and it was like very minimal.
Yep. It's
So
hard
like, how did a
to.
call light work?
So I was able to have a call light. The
Hmm.
funny story is another story, but they actually gave me a call light one night when I'm by myself, and it was actually they gave me the wrong one. It was to turn on the TV. So I was in
Mm.
there like I was in there trying to like I was in so much pain needing help, and I'm
Yeah.
hitting the button, and the freaking TV is going on off on off on off on off, and I'm like,
That's,
oh my God, you can't make it up.
yeah.
Like it's
Dude, that's,
crazy, but
yeah. Oh my
I
God.
try to think back. I'd have to look at some videos, talk to my brother and my wife and my parents, but like I had my right hand had like some finger, like I was able to like hold somewhat of like a fist, or like kind of like when they would come in and they'd be like, all right, pinch my fingers. Like
Hmm.
I'd be able to like do a little bit on my left hand. And
Hmm.
then I remember the wrist stuff, like that was like they'd be like, "All right, we're gonna hold down your wrist, like push
Hmm.
up." And like I'd be like, "I'm trying for the life of me." And like it
Hmm.
was just like straight limp wrist. And then same thing when they test up, they'd,
Hmm.
put their hand on your arm and then you'd have to, push upwards. They
Hmm.
would do I think they'd like try to have you like raise your arms up.
Hmm.
All that stuff was very, very minimal at the beginning. I believe from what I can remember, both arms were pretty equal most of the time. Like they progressed equally through the hospital. They're
Hmm.
obviously different now. Like my left side's a lot stronger than my right, but I remember one of the first times they were like, "All right, like raise your arms like above your head." And I was like, easy. And I was like, I like legit could barely do it. I got it up to, probably about here.
Hmm.
And then right at the point where your tricep can't hold it.
Yeah.
And I remember just getting punched in the face with
Yeah.
my own
Oh,
hands.
yeah.
Cause it's obviously not there yet, but
Yeah. I still do that to this day with my right
but
arm.
your arms not just
Yeah. Or like, or what I'll have to do is I'll have to throw my whole body just to
yep.
like if I'm in a
Roll.
certain spot, yeah, just to get like my arm to like, to open up all the way or
Yep.
whatever. But yeah, no,
It's
I've
all that
been,
stuff. I mean, you don't realize. And I have
yeah,
this
no,
conversation with a lot of people is like, not that it's anyone's fault, but I mean, the amount of people that you see in a wheelchair out in public, I mean, probably nine times out of ten, it's a para.
yeah.
And that's just the image that people have in their
Hmm.
mind. I mean, it's nobody sees a quadriplegic really out.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
and yeah,
Well,
you
I
don't.
mean, and then and like I think movies had a lot to do with it too. Like
Yeah.
what movie have you ever or what I mean, I know of one movie and it's the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my life. It's about this like quad guy, but he's more of like I don't
And you
even know if
probably
he
watch that now
quad.
after you've been hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't watch it
Well, okay.
before.
Yeah. Well, so at moral of the story, this dude basically says, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Switzerland and kill myself." So
Okay.
it's like, "Oh, shut up!" Like,
That's the thanks. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that's
But
like part of
but
the
he's
thing is like
more,
nobody,
but he's more of like a
you don't
like
see
he's
like,
yeah,
you just don't see those people. You don't see people like us out in public. And
yeah.
so like people are like, oh yeah, like, I mean, people all the time. I mean, it's nobody's fault, but it's just the way the world works. But they're like, why can't you just, lift yourself
Mhm.
and get in your truck? Like
Yeah,
you got your arms and like you just
yeah,
lift yourself up there. I'm like,
yeah,
I'd love to, or like, hey, like,
yeah,
why don't you, cut your steak? You're like, I'd
mhm,
love to, like, but
yeah,
like, I can't. And like,
yeah,
people just picture you, like, they see you in the wheelchair and they're like, oh, can't walk.
mhm,
But, they gotta, you have to obviously pay a little more closer attention to see if they have much movement or what they can
mhm,
do with hands, arms, and whatnot. And, obviously it presents itself differently in every injury in each person. Same people that have the same exact level of injury as us, or one guy's fully up walking and the next guy's got a cane, the next guy's can't even move a pinky. or
Mm-hmm.
even lift their arm, and the next guy can stand but not use any arms, and like
Mm-hmm.
the variation is crazy. And that's something I didn't know before this either. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
that varied. I just you think you break your neck, you hurt your spinal cord, and like boom, here's the list of things that you can't do, or these are the muscles that are affected. And like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing too that I think is like such um, a shocker is that you can have two people with the same injury and whether they heal the same or like
yep,
the the way people heal is just completely different.
yeah,
So,
it's crazy. And like, I mean, obviously the amount of knowledge about the spinal cord isn't great out there, but
mhm.
yeah, I don't know the science behind it or why that happens the way it is. But yeah, Mike, it's just it's hard because obviously people that I'm close with now understand that, and I understand that more now, but you don't understand that until you're in it or until you're talking to somebody. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's a big misconception of like, oh, you're in the chair, like no big deal, like just lift
yeah,
yourself, around,
yeah,
yeah, just throw on your shoes and socks and go out the door and jump in your truck. Like
yeah.
I'm like, man, all that stuff you don't realize.
So me and you have been um we have been, how do I say this? Test test subjects? I don't know.
Yeah.
Test subjects, I guess, of this Onward Medical. They came out with this machine. It's called the Arc X, and what it does is I'm going to try and give it my best explanation of what it does. Now I am not for all the people that are listening, I am a rat. I'm a test dummy. I am not a medical anything. Um, I can barely get through, I barely could have gone through regular health class in high school. So please do not look towards me for your medical advice. Nor can I tell you half the meds that I'm on. So if that tells you that you should probably not expect to ask medical questions for me, then I don't know what else to tell them.
This is the
Okay?
disclaimer so you don't get sued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they sue me, I also don't have that much money, so I don't know.
Come and
You're
get
just
it.
wasting your time. Yeah. I could probably give you some good pointers to how to work a horse or how to shit, I don't know. Whatever. Okay. So, as of November 17th, 2025, Onward Medical um came out with a press release. And on this press release, it says the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has cleared the ARC-X system for use in conjunction with functional task practice in the clinic and take-home exercises in the in-home to improve hand strength and sensation in adults with chronic non-progressive neurological deficits resulting from an incomplete SCI, C2 through C8 inclusive. The ARC-X system is non-invasive and delivers programmed transcutaneous electrical spinal cord stimulation. It is intended to be operated in medical centers by rehabilitation professionals and at home by patients and persons providing assistance to patients as needed. Further down on the press release, it says ARC-X therapy is supported by a unique body of clinical evidence. Results of the Uplift pivotal study published in Nature Medicine showed that 90%, that's right, 90% of participants improved strength or function. 80% reported, or 87% reported improvement in quality of life, and benefits were observed up to 34 years post injury. Study participants also reported less spasm frequency, improved sleep quality, and improved upper body sensation and sense of touch. There's more studies that they go talk about too, and all of the benefits that have come out of those studies. So, first thing, I just want to touch on how this is the biggest uh, technology or technological improvement or movement that we have in the U.S. right now for spinal cord injury patients. So this is pretty awesome news. And how long do you think they'd say that they've already had on the market and in use for us to use these machines and these machines to be used on us, um, but only within like um, by rehabilitation professionals, so like our therapy and stuff. I
Yeah.
think it's
Now it's like a
partly,
take-home unit you can take home
yeah,
to go along with it.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think they've had it out for us to be able to use for a few months. Uh I I'm pretty sure it's really only been a few months because um whenever I first found out about it, I got a hold of my therapist, told her about it, and then within like the next few weeks, we had a guy come out, showed her how to work it, let me put it on me, let me feel it, let me be a test dummy, and um he told us that they were still in works, and then not too long, like a few weeks after that, they came out and
Yeah.
my therapy got it. But I know your place, they got it before my place did, and
Yeah. I remember us talking about it. You told me from the beginning, we were
yeah,
like, we were trying to figure out how to split 40 grand and then just ship it
yeah,
across the country.
yeah,
But yeah, they're 40 grand. The take home ones I think are 25 or 28. So still a good chunk of change. It's
yeah.
pretty crazy how expensive it is. But anyways, I guess the best way to describe it is it's an electric stimulation unit. So people that don't know what that is, it's basically these little sticker pads. They'll put them, what is it? I think there's four that go down your neck or your back, and then there's two that go basically on the front of your pelvis,
Mhm.
lower abdomen area. So and it basically sends electric frequency shock waves basically straight into your spinal cord, and it's all FDA approved, safe. So it's been obviously tested that it's not going to harm you, but yeah, it basically just feels like you're getting shocked down your spine. Really, is what it feels like, and yeah, I mean, you kind of tell your story too about what and how much improvement you think it helps you. We've done quite a bit of stuff with it at the place I go to therapy. I go to therapy at a place called SEI Fit and spinal cord injury functional integration training, and it's a place like 10 minutes down the road from my house. I love it there. You know, it's amazing people that work there. Great group of people, but yeah, thank goodness they had it. Or they still have it. It's really awesome. I don't feel, I mean, some people will use it and be like, you know, I can do this, 5 times better. I feel like
Mhm.
it gives you like a little bit of a boost. But from my understanding is, not necessarily giving you a boost to be able to do something right then and there, but it's to be able to help your spinal cord relearn and learn those pathways. So somehow that the frequency down your spine, into your spinal cord, when you're trying to write or when you're trying to do a push up or trying to do like even like leg movement stuff that we do at therapy, it's like it's supposed to train and have your all the wires basically connect a little bit better than what they are currently without the stimulation. So I've done it writing. I feel like that's where the most that I feel improvement wise is writing, using, fine motor skills, hand stuff. I feel like that's a big improvement there. And then also when I'm able to use it, I can sit up a lot straighter, like have a lot more back or core muscles kind of engaging. Um, and yeah, it helps, I feel like a little bit with triceps in our situation. But yeah, we'll do it, for my instance, we'll do it everything from, walking with a walker to leg movements to, doing fine motor stuff with the hands. So it's literally a wide range. It's obviously only approved for upper body They're the next step is to have it approved for lower body. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, tell me how you felt when you did it. Did you feel anything big?
Um, I see. I've only used it. Uh, I wouldn't say a few. This past month, I've really started using it more. Um, so and especially because I know that. So when the guy came and he kind of gave us a rundown of the whole thing, how it works, he said, which it makes sense, like you said, it's not really made for you to like right then and there you're gonna see a difference. It's it's made for over a period of time, so like over a year or 2 years of consistently using it.
Yeah.
That's whenever people tend to see that change in whatever they were that they were using it to help them work on, because obviously they don't just place the pads on the back of our spine just to be like, we'll put them there and we'll do some workouts and we'll see what happens. So it's all targeted and obviously purpose driven. So right now, what we've been using it on me a lot is the triceps, because those are just right now currently they just are the weaker part of the upper body that I have. Um,
And
and
people
we're
don't
really just
realize you don't realize how much you have to rely on triceps.
yeah.
You can explain on it too. Like, I mean, anything that we do, like even just trying to pick ourselves up. I mean, that's
Mm,
all triceps. So basically, anytime you got like a straight or bent arm to a straight arm, like that's pretty much tricep. So
yeah.
it's way more crucial than people may think that might not know like the body anatomy,
Mm,
but it is like crucial for everything really.
yeah, it's definitely whenever I like that's one thing that I'm so grateful that did come back and that we're working able to get stronger because if I didn't have the triceps, like there's no manual chair,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you can't do the weight shift to get up on your own. So like there's just a lot of independence that comes with the triceps. So if you don't have the triceps, you just lose, that independence that comes with that. So, but I know that people, like you said, I mean, use them for their Tino or hand function because from what I've learned is that so for your hand function, and like I said, I could be wrong, but from what I've learned is when hand function first, triceps have to come back first, and then it's somewhere like on your forearm that just the nerves that go, and it's like your pinky first that follows, and then the rest comes back. So it's all one after the other. So it's just like for me, my goal. Okay, let's get these triceps as jacked as we can get them. Get those where they're fire like from my brain to them. It's clear path, just like everything else that I have, and then just start building up off of that. And not only that, I mean, but that's just kind of like our goal.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really excited about that. That's just kind of where me on a therapy level, like that's kind of our goal set going. I really like him.
Yeah.
I like that feel, that electricity flowing through.
Yeah.
It. I don't know if it's like my own cautious, whatever. You know,
Yeah. In your
thinking
brain.
of like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, okay, it's on, so it's working better,
Yep.
like, versus like, okay, if it's not on, like, I'm not really, like, maybe more of a confidence thing too. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. And plus it's the newest thing out there. So it's like,
Yeah, that's actually approved, which is kind of
yeah,
crazy that yeah, it's approved by the government because not much stuff does get past that point. So
yeah,
obviously it works. Obviously it
yeah,
works. Obviously with anything you have to give it time.
Hmm.
we do it quite a bit in therapy. So, it's obviously hard to point a finger on like what is doing the most help. In my case, because I do so much is like, all right, well, or is it because of the arc or is it because of, it just depends. It's just so hard. But I mean, at this point, we have to do really everything, kind of
Yeah.
shooting in the dark. And if it works, it works. But yeah, it's a thing like they say exactly what you said is it's something over a period of time. It ain't, you're not going to put it on and then you're going to turn it off and now you got triceps. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be something that's like, months, years of doing it and consistently like doing it every week or doing it every other day or, you know, if you have the thing, you could do it every day. And I'm sure
Hmm.
your progress would be a lot more, but
Oh
man,
yeah.
that's a steep bill. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Even cutting that one in half,
Yeah.
it might be difficult shipping it across the country back and forth.
Yeah. And my therapist, I was talking to her today about it, and she was saying that it's cash only right now.
Of
So
course.
that's the other thing.
Of
Who else
course.
is not, that's what I was talking to her about. It's like, who the hell has got that much money just sitting around right now?
And like,
You know?
yeah. I mean, ideally it'd be something that insurance would provide you or say like, hey, you're doing this,
Hopefully.
I mean, you'd only hope, but yeah, it's of course,
It just
money
what
makes the world go
worries
round.
me, uh, but what worries me though is the Chattanooga thing, right? That's kind of this is so the people that, um, don't know what that is. So the Chattanooga thing, it's a similar system to this, but from what I know, the frequencies are nowhere near as high as what this machine offers. But
Yes. It's all
that
based off
for
the
me,
frequency on how it goes through your spinal cord. So like that
yeah.
Chattanooga, they can get it close,
Mhm.
but for it to actually be able to do as much help as the arc, I think that's why the arc is so much better is because they can get, I
Yeah.
don't know, I know scientists or no doctor, so I can't really tell you, but it's that special frequency that's going into you.
Yeah. Well, that for me that wasn't covered by insurance. So it's like if that's not,
Yep.
how the heck, how are they going to work that to get this? I mean, for them to be asking that much money for it, it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too to me is like not that many people with spinal cord injuries have that kind of money.
Well, why
So,
why don't they have that money? Because they
yeah,
can't really work, can't really find a job. It's not
yeah,
easy to just go out there and get a job. And so, when
yeah,
you take a step back at it and you look at it as far as that point, like this, like what our injury is a very expensive injury. Like
yeah,
I'm still dealing with medical bills and
yeah,
insurance. Like I
yeah.
just found out 2 days ago, like um, UC Davis wants me to pay $99,000 because my insurance paid 1.7 million and they want me to take up the last 100,000. And, that's just the hospital stay. And then you add in the Shepherd Center and then, and then the stuff you don't think about is like wheelchair parts.
Mhm.
That ain't covered by insurance. They might get
Yep.
you a chair, but I mean, the rest
Yeah.
of the parts and stuff you need, the tires, that ain't covered. And
Mhm.
then you think of like even in my case, like, different style pants like
Mhm.
that just are made for you sitting down and that are a
Yeah,
little bit
but they're
easier for you to put on.
yeah,
That's that's $120 a piece.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
now I need to get new shorts because my shorts, I can't wear the same shorts I did before.
Mhm.
Now I got to get them also like brought into a seamstress. That's another
Mhm.
$100. And
Mhm.
it's like, all right, well, man, now I can't, use this zip up jacket or this button up shirt. All right, I got to order another one. Now it's, it's like that's another thing you never really realize, but like, man, the amount of expense and how much money all this costs. I
Mhm.
mean, even stuff like, me and you talk about like adaptation stuff for the computer, the mouse,
Yeah,
like it's just everything is so expensive and
yeah.
yeah, there's no
You
extra
know,
discount for us, that's for sure.
yeah, no. You know what I think I find so funny? I was talking to my therapist about this today. A lot of the stuff that we find is, or from what I found, and I know some of the stuff you've pointed to me is like owned and operated by, or not, maybe not operated, eh, partially, might be founded by if other people with injuries. And I was telling her, I said, You know what? I was talking to my buddy today. I told her, I said, we were talking about why don't we come up with something, that other people could use and just do what they're doing and just rip off all these crippled
Yeah.
people like they're doing.
Yes,
'Cause
dude, rip
that's
you
all they're
off.
doing. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now, like you
I
said,
mean,
money does
something you
make
look at it
wrong.
is made for like $50 and we're paying
Yeah.
like $450.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and it doesn't make sense to me because it's like, all right, some of the stuff that insurance could buy, yeah, rack it up because insurance,
Yeah.
that's what the companies make money off is off insurance. But the stuff that they know, like our pants or shorts, insurance,
Yeah.
everyone knows insurance ain't paying for that. So why are we like racking it up? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because even like, let's take like a regular pair of Nike basketball shorts, right? Like they're probably like, I mean, they're more expensive than what they should be. But
Yeah.
our shorts, like, why are they double that? So it's like,
Yep.
that's what
Because they can
doesn't,
get away with it. Yeah. It's
yeah.
crazy.
But I mean, that's just,
That's what we can come up with. Got to figure out what we're going to come up
yeah,
with. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, if anyone listening to this or watching this, if they have any ideas, definitely run it by us first, so
yes.
we can help you rip off fellow crippled people.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly. They'll be
we
doing it
need to
without
have
us.
money to, yeah. I mean, that's just not fair.
We need to have money to get ripped off by other crippled
Yeah,
people. So yeah, it's
yeah.
a whole domino effect.
Yeah. But I'll leave the website to or the link to the website of the Onward thing. I mean, you could they have all like to they have all their videos and all that stuff of what it's about. They also have and we won't get too much into this, but they do have this what they do like I don't know, are they injections? Have you seen those? Like they're like permanent. Um
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a permanent one of this, sort
stimulator.
of.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
forget the name of what they call it. Epidural stimulator, I think is the name.
it sounds right.
You see
Yeah.
them a lot in different countries. Obviously, the amount of stem cell stuff in different countries as well. But yeah, it's like they actually like leave
Mhm.
this stimulator inside your back, and then it goes straight to your spinal cord. And it's supposed to do very similar to what the arc is.
Mhm.
I don't know, like, the pluses and minuses to all that, but you know, for something to go shoved in my back into the spinal cord and not really like give me a benefit, is kind of
Yeah.
hard to swallow to do. But yeah, from what it sounds like, it does very similar to what the arc does.
I mean, I thought that was a pretty cool thing. I mean, like I said, I don't know much about it because I just don't
You-
see the need to look into it right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll leave that for anyone who wants to listen or learn more about them. It's pretty cool what they're doing. Hopefully they can get their prices down. Hopefully they will have a Black Friday sale next year. So we can maybe purchase that.
But at
Uh
95%
uh,
off.
yeah. Yeah. So one of the big questions I've been really wanting to ask you because it's just been one thing because me and you recently have been talking about our medications
Yep.
and trying to get off because we take more than your average retired 90-year-old person on a daily basis. Which this is a side thing, but a lot of people, like if I'm ever hanging around like older people, they're like, "Oh, I take a lot of meds." I'm like, "Shit." You want to hear a lot of meds? And they try
Yeah.
and keep up with me. I'm like, no, I'm whooping you. Like it becomes this competitive game and it's, and all over meds. But not that that's something I'm bragging about, but it's like that's just how many we take. So, and one of the medications me and you have been really trying to get off of is the meds that have to do with our like nerve pain that cause our spasms. Um, so do you, because I've heard a lot of people or a lot of stories about people who use like that. can use their spasms to help them.
Yeah.
Um, that doesn't, I haven't figured that out. So that was one question. Like, do you use any of your spasms or do they just pure aggravate you?
No, they just aggravate me. I don't really have many spasms. Most of what I deal with is like tone. So, like I guess to explain, obviously you know what it is, but explain to the listeners is like spasm would be, like your arm or your hand, shaking, having basically a spasm. And then tone is like your arm or your leg or your hand or your fingers like are so tight you can't even open them or you can't even bend an arm or a leg because it's literally just stuck straight out. Like all the muscles are fully contracted. And that is more what I deal with. So, yeah, it's a battle. I first was told when I left the hospital that I was going to need a baclofen pump, which is actually like a medical device. Baclofen is one of the drugs that me and Roland are talking about, but the baclofen pump would actually be like in like medically sutured on you, is my understanding, and it would basically feed your body this medication 24/7. And I was initially told that, and I can't exactly remember the amount of milligrams that I was on a baclofen when I was at the Shepherd Center, but I want to say it was close to 150 or 200 milligrams.
Holy
And
cow.
now I'm all the way down to 20. So I just take it at night. I take one pill at night to, help make me sleep. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that don't take it, over time, you don't necessarily need it as much as in the beginning, and I'm a perfect example for that. But it's finding the balance of like, because the medication doesn't make you feel good, that is like it makes you feel sleepy, groggy, and like honestly, you don't know how really it makes you feel until you get off of it.
Mhm.
But you still need it to a certain degree because you need to function, and like you can't just be rolling around your wheelchair with your freaking legs just
Yeah.
erect. Like that wouldn't be great either. But yeah, then obviously the nerve pain, which is literally a pain in the ass, literally
Mhm.
a pain in the ass. And, me and you've talked about this plenty of times, but, trying to figure out that fine balance of, where the medication sit, where how much you take compared to how much pain you can take. I don't really, you can sure there's enough medication you can take where you won't have any pain, but then you're going to just be kind of zoned out or looped out the whole time. And trying to find that balance is very tough. It's painful, literally painful. But yeah, and man, it's something like, I mean, I was cutting like a quarter of a pill, literally a quarter of a pill out one every 2 weeks. And like, this is how long it's taken me to get to this point, and I'm happy with it. Obviously, I feel like my muscles and my arms and my legs would not be as tight if I was on more medication, but I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm able to do more things. But yeah, so it's the gabapentin is what I take for nerve pain. A lot of people that have nerve issues, like even older people, like really anybody you talk to that like, oh, like I have a herniated disc or oh, I've got this nerve pinched nerve, like they're almost everyone's on gabapentin. So it's a very popular drug. And then baclofen is more kind of spinal cord, I think, specific is my understanding. I'm not sure who else really would use it. Whenever I have to order it, it's like a special order drug. But um, yeah, I mean, and then you talk to other people and they're like, oh, well, marijuana is a great way where you don't need to have that stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to just be like living every
Dude,
day
yeah,
just
yeah,
stoned.
yeah,
Like I'm like I'm trying to get off the medication. Like I
yeah,
was a person who like maybe took Tylenol. Like that was it. Like everything
yeah,
else you just deal with it. There was no medication I took. So it's a complete change in lifestyle, but like yeah, it's a fine balance. Like I don't want to be high all the time.
yeah,
Obviously, I know there's like other supplements and stuff out there and that we're trying to figure out, and vitamins and magnesium and so much stuff that's out there that can help with this, but it's hard to navigate, you know that.
yeah, yeah. It is, and and I think what a lot of people like. One thing that we can really help people like understand the hardest for me, and I know for me and you, the hardest thing that we have to face or worry about when it comes to getting off these medications is the main thing is at night when we try to sleep. That's what has the biggest effect on us. Is like
Yeah.
if like you cannot sleep, like you cannot
Yeah.
when because it's not like
Well,
how you used
say
to get.
we were just talking last week. Remember, tell the story about like falling asleep with their foot.
Yeah. Yeah, the restless leg thing, yeah. And it's not
Yeah.
like how it used to be like where you could just get up, walk around or like move or whatever. Like that's the hardest part is you feel like you need to move,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
you can't.
we're literally laying in bed trying to fall asleep,
Yeah.
and our
Yeah.
foot is literally just like,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, with your foot doing that, I mean, it's not enjoyable by any means. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't really hurt a whole lot, but it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
And then like for me too, like some nights if like just for some reason don't take it like on accident or whatever, like if I move slightly, my whole body is starting to just flail and jerk. And then that's aggravating too, because every time you might, just like move a little bit, your whole body's like, your back's like jerking you back and all
yes,
that. So it's
sometimes
like,
it's dangerous. Like, you can't be having no medication like that and then trying to get out of bed. Like,
yeah,
what happens
yeah,
if you're doing that? You're getting out of bed and you're just on the floor.
yeah,
Like, you don't have
yeah,
control.
yeah,
So it's like that fine balance of the medication.
mhm, yeah. And then, but I know the big reason why. So like people are like, dang, it's that bad. Why are you guys trying to get off of it? Because we're young and we're not trying to have liver disease by the time we're, 40 or 50, because that's just, and you nowadays, I mean, with everything that's coming out, you're just like they should have vitamins or something,
Yeah.
that help. I mean, but it is all in moderation. And I mean, that's honestly the key takeaway of a spinal cord injury. Everything we do is moderation.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can do that's like one big main fix, you know. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
The medication is tough. Like, you don't want to, I
Yeah,
mean, you think of how young we are and like the amount of medication you take, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
well, I mean, 5, 10, 15, 20. Obviously, hopefully we're not in a situation where we're taking this much medication then, but you don't know. I mean,
yeah,
nobody knows. And so it's but you're like, man, I'm literally taking this amount of medication or this many pills every
mhm,
day. Like, this can't be great for the body. I
yeah.
mean, it can't be
But it's
good.
not natural too, you
No.
know.
No, it's
So
not. And yeah, I worry about that a lot. Like, even, I mean, I know like vitamins and supplements are a different thing, but I even worry about that. Like, I never took vitamins or anything like that before, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
I'm taking this every day in my body. Like, it's
mhm,
literally staying in my system. And it's like a crazy concept to think about, like that amount of chemicals or whatever in your system 24/7. And so you got to find that balance of not to be in pain, but still like be
be
here and
functional.
present. Yeah. And be able to be functional. And like, I don't know, the more I get off it too, the more function I feel like I gain back or I can find that I have with that
Mhm,
without being on it. So, but yeah, man, it's tough because I mean, nobody wants to be in pain. I mean, it's
mhm,
not enjoyable for anybody, and it's tough. Again, another thing, like, you don't know that with spinal cord injury before. You wouldn't know dang thing about this.
yeah,
You wouldn't think of this. So yeah, more stuff.
yeah. So one more question because it's getting colder, and I don't know. I would assume I don't know what it's like over there, but how does the cold affect you? I know for me, like the cold, like I would before the injury, love the cold, prefer the cold over the hot because it's always freaking hot here. So I preferred the cold. But now I have to switch. Now I love the hot versus the cold because for me, when I get cold, and I mean like cold, it takes forever for me to get warm and it's freaking miserable.
Yep.
and I have to like, I mean, it's not as bad as last year. I can already tell, which is a good thing. Like I'm not like the blankets all the time. Like, I don't really have to worry about that anymore, so that's nice. But it's definitely something that is probably the worst, the most aggravating, one of the most aggravating battles I have. So, how
Yeah.
does it affect you? Like what?
First off, I wish I had a picture of you back at Shepherd Center when you were
I
this
could
guy.
probably find one and just
You
put
were
it.
full bundled
Yeah,
up, like
yeah,
full, like
yeah,
wrapped around like 50 blankets just to keep
yeah,
you warm.
all the time. Yeah.
hmm And no, that so like I the biggest thing for me, the cold affects my hands the most. Like they
Okay.
will be like full fist, like
Hmm.
stiff, like major tone in the hands. And they'll be cold, but not like as cold as like say my legs or my ankles.
Hmm.
But the rest of my body doesn't really get affected by the cold. It's just kind of specifically my hands. Like you would think, all the hardware in our necks that, we would feel the cold a little bit more in the neck. Do
That
you?
happens to me. Yeah.
You do? Okay. They
Oh
must have
yeah.
insulated my shit when they put it in.
Yeah. Must be nice.
But yeah, because like I mean, mine's gone. I mean, I have hardware from C4 all the way to T2. They took out every vertebrae in between that point. So, but I don't feel it in my neck. I don't feel stiff. It's just my hands. But you're 100% right. Like my legs right now, I mean, the knees are chilly. I'm sure my ankles are chilly too. But you man, it takes forever. Like you
Yeah.
could be like on a heating blanket in front of a
Hmm.
heater. Like it takes a while for it to warm
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And I I don't have an answer for it because like I'll be wearing plenty of socks, I'll be wearing pants, I'll wear like something underneath the pants, and there's like no saving that. Like you're gonna be
Hmm.
cold and it's gonna take a while to warm up. And I feel like the heat gives me more nerve pain. You
Really?
know, yep. I feel like
Oh.
the heat, and also the heat is hard for me. I've gotten better to the point where I can sweat a little bit more now. But back in end of August, beginning of September this year, I went to some races, and it was hot. It was like 100 and 105, 102, something like that. And like I wasn't even like doing a whole lot or pushing around. Like I was in the sun, but I wasn't like doing anything crazy. And like I legit like about passed out. Like I had to get out of my chair, lay on the ground, like with ice packs, fans, all that.
Oh
Be
wow.
because like my body would not cool down. Like it still battles with regulating that temperature a lot. So
Dang.
I would rather deal with the cold and just deal with straight fist because the
Hmm.
heat, I mean, at least it'd probably be different come next summer. But yeah, I feel like my nerve pain goes high with the
Hmm.
heat, and then I mean the nerve pain in the cold isn't as much. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but
Yeah.
it's just what my body is. But you're right. And the cold affects you, and the weather does.
Yeah. See, that's so funny. We're like complete opposites on that. The cold, hate that crap. The
Yeah,
heat, but I think it's for me like just I've always been so used to just being like just wearing like it's normal for us to be around the house and just wearing shorts. Like I mean this year like as soon as we got home uh and the summer rolled around like I was going out on a boat like being out in the sun all day like it didn't I mean
you were
like
fine.
I would get huh
You were fine. Like didn't heat up
yeah
that bad.
yeah the what would happen though is I would get like super I don't know if it'd call it heat exhaustion because I mean probably a little bit. It's like whenever we'd get done of being in the sun. That's when it was like, okay, I got super hot. I was like, put the fan on me, take my shirt off, let me just sit and like I was
Yeah.
super tired, super exhausted. But like being out. being out never like really affected me.
Yeah.
So
This is when you
uh,
get back.
yeah,
But yeah, it's crazy. Of
yeah. Well, Chase, brother, I appreciate you being on.
course. You're doing good things over there. I'm happy. Obviously I feel like I was there from the beginning to this because
Yeah,
I remember being in the Shepherd Center and you had this idea of doing it. And
yeah,
then like I've been with you, not with you, but the phone calls and text messages and all that, we always
yeah,
talk and like it's been cool to see like the build up of the podcast and
mm,
like obviously
yeah,
starts as an idea and then you get
mm,
home and it's like this is your goal, you're setting up the room, you're doing all this, you're getting the equipment. So it's cool to see it all come
yeah,
to fruition for sure.
yeah.
And you're
I'm
doing a good
hoping
job.
that. I
You got a
appreciate it.
you got a good voice behind the mic.
Oh, thanks.
Doing good.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get you or me and you can be in person. Now
Yeah.
that'll be a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
think we gotta get you away from Cali.
I know I need to come
Cali,
to Florida, hang out with you guys.
yeah. Dude, we'll show you what it's like to just be free.
Yeah.
Just-
Show me what
Plus
the
every
freedom feels like.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But so where can the people find you?
People
I
can
mean,
find me.
I'll put all your socials and stuff in the
Yeah,
description and all that
I would
anyway.
say probably like I'm personally more active on like Instagram, but we do a lot of like my updates and stuff still on the Chase Johnson Racing Facebook page. That's also I feel like we post definitely more videos, updates, just everything really kind of goes onto that page. So that's the best place to find us. We got a website, chasejohnsonracing.com. You can go there. That's about all. You can find me through Rolling. That's where you can find me.
Oh yeah, dang right. What I just this just came popped in my head. I need your brother. You know how he make you those edits of you and your
Yeah,
racing?
yeah,
You just do that shit in your wheelchair.
yeah. Do an edit like that,
Yeah. Or at least I'll
dude.
let him do it. I'll let him do it with me in my power chair.
Like whipping around some
Yeah.
donuts and like
Yeah.
slow mos of you driving by.
Yeah. With
I
some
think he still got all the video from your graduation. Wait, we haven't even touched on this. There's so many more things. I feel like the audience needs that full recap of the graduation.
what about it?
I
I
mean,
just said a word.
you gotta
I
paint
just
the
said a
picture.
word or two.
You had money flying. There was
Oh
there's
yeah.
one. I think I got a rolling $1 bill still, but
What? Hey, who got those?
I'm not
I
sure.
forgot all about that. I see.
They ended up all on the floor. But yeah, I mean
Yeah.
this is another story for you another day. I mean you got to paint
Oh,
this picture for the audience because the
yeah.
graduation I feel like was definitely top of the class.
Oh, for sure. I forgot all about that. Dang.
Yeah, that was good,
That's
right?
funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, this is why I need me and you will be together more and we'll bring that up and then we can find that video and I'll play a clip of it or something.
yeah.
You know. Uh,
We need like a cripple talk after dark, and then get the
oh
real
yeah.
stories going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we might have to get like a Patreon account or something.
Yeah,
We can
exactly.
yeah. But well, I appreciate it, Chase. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate having me
Well,
on.